Welcome to the Empower Elle podcast. I'm your host, Vero, and I'm so excited to have you join me on this journey of empowerment and growth. This podcast is designed for ambitious, high-achieving women who are ready to break free from overwhelm and step into their power. Together, we'll explore practical strategies, share inspiring stories, and hear from experts who can help you navigate the challenges of balancing ambition and well-being. Whether you're looking to cultivate confidence, transform your mindset, enhance your leadership skills, or find harmony in your life, this is the place for you. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to the Empower Elle podcast. I'm so glad that you're here to learn about something that could shift the way that you lead and live. I'm really excited today because we have a guest. And this guest is someone who is very special to me and has had a really big impact in my life. I'll stop there for now so that we don't cry in the first minute. And I'm sure we'll get into it during our conversation. So, Renee-Claude Arseneau, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I feel like this is a full circle moment, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes, I'm sure, but really happy to be here and super proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I'm really happy you're here. So maybe let's start with just give us a brief introduction and tell us who Renee-Claude is.
Sure. So I'm a 34-year-old mama to a little girl named Amelia. She's going to be 2 in August. I'm a fiance since January of this year. I'm an accountant CPA as well, just like you are, and that's how we met. So we'll talk about that, I'm sure. And I'm also a business owner, a business that really rose from the ashes, I'll say. I made a big shift in my life at 30 years old. I was signing divorce papers. I was questioning my career choice. I was basically questioning my existence. It was very dark, and I promised myself that, if I can make it on the other side, I'm going to do this for a living, and I'm going to shift women's mindset around relationships, and I'll just help them navigate some of life's biggest transitions. So that's what I've been doing.
I love it. So I figured maybe we could start a little bit with how we met, just give our listeners a little overview of how it all started. And also, like you alluded to pretty quickly, that at 30 years old, you had a really big shift in your life. And when we met, we were both 28, so we're the same age.
Yeah.
So we were both, but especially you, in very different places in our lives when we met.
Yes.
So just to be kind of brief with it, so we met at our corporate job that we still work at part-time now, both of us. And we started working there maybe a month apart when the center opened.
Yeah.
And we were on the same team. So we were working side by side every day, and we clicked instantly. And when you spend like that much time with someone, I feel like you get to know them really quickly.
Yes.
And you figure out really quickly who they are and if you get along with them. And
That's true.
it just worked.
Yeah.
So I mean, what started out as coworkers and work friends turned into like one of the most important person in my life, like I mentioned. And we'll get into that. But maybe I'll stop there. I'll turn it over to you to see if you want to add anything about how we met. And then I'd like you to touch on where you were in your life at that point when we met.
Okay. So yes, to add to what you just said, I really do feel like we spent a lot of time together, especially so just to give like your audience like insight, I guess, on what we were doing. So when we started working for that bank, the work had just transitioned to Moncton.
Mm-hmm.
So it was brand new teams, like no one was basically in their role. Like it was, everyone was brand new and it was new work coming over, new processes. And if you're familiar with accounting at all, it's a lot of overtime and it's a lot of work already. And on top
Mm-hmm.
of it, make it like brand new with like all basically rookie people. So we spent not only like, normal working hours together, but I feel like we spent like nights and
Yeah.
weekends and it was very, very crazy. I feel like if I was able to get through that period, it's definitely because I had you as like my partner and we like worked really well together. Like
Yeah.
I feel like we were like same level of like balancing each other and just yeah, it was great.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
also, like, this was pre-COVID, so there was no working from home.
exactly.
So all of those long hours, all of the evenings, the weekends, like it was in office. We never worked from home.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And where I was in my life. So, like I said, I
Yeah.
was at that point in a 7, close to 8 year relationship with my partner at the time that I met basically right after university. And I feel like I never really got to know who I was as like an adult. Like I got shaped throughout like high school, through society into this version of myself that I didn't really know who it was, if I liked that person, but I kind of went along with it because I don't know, that's who I've been like for the past few years. And I was very vulnerable in the sense that, like, I don't know if it's because I'm an only child, but leaving my parents, I'm really close with my parents, and leaving my house and leaving my parents, I felt like I needed someone to kind of like guide me. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
didn't fully trust myself. And so my ex really embraced that role and he like really, brought me along his journey of like fitness and whatever it was that he was into at that point. And me not really knowing who I was and who I wanted to be, I just followed. Like I went along with it, and over the course of 7 8 years, I really shaped myself into the person that he wanted me to be.
Hmm.
It's kind of by my own fault. Like I didn't say anything, I didn't like make any decisions. I just went along with it. And yeah, like I feel like that was the hardest part when we broke up is, oh my god, now I'm alone and
Hmm.
like I have no idea who I am, what I like, what I want to do with my life. Because at that point, I had that feeling that, accounting was starting to feel heavy for me. I had
Yeah.
climbed the corporate ladder. I was basically at the highest role that I could possibly get here. And I was like still feeling unfulfilled and unhappy. And I was like, oh my gosh, who am I? Like,
Hmm.
who am I? And I think that was really the biggest piece, like having to look at myself in the mirror and like figure out who I was looking at. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember like the two of you were like the picture perfect couple on
Oh my
the
God.
outside. Like
Yes.
everything looked absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And I know I tell this story often, but I feel like it relates here too. Of before, or actually, I think right the first time I met you,
Yeah.
and knew that we were going to be working together. Like we didn't know each other, but I knew of you.
Right.
We're the same age, two French girls from New Brunswick. Like we had friends in common, so I knew of you. So I looked you up on social media and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, this girl is perfect.
Oh my
So
God.
she's going to judge me all the time. She's going to judge everything I eat, everything I wear, everything I do, because that was the picture.
Right,
that was
right.
being portrayed on
Yeah,
social media, right? And
yeah,
like, you know this, and you know that obviously my views have changed a lot since then.
yes.
Um, but I feel like it goes with what you were saying, that that's what you were putting on.
Yeah, that was it was what I was putting on, and I was believing myself.
Yes.
That's the crazy part. Like I was believing my dream. I was believing what I was portraying. I
Yeah.
was obviously someone that I'm not. I was, like you said, really into fitness at that point because that's the life of my ex. And
Mm-hmm.
I was competing in bodybuilding shows, and I was, you
Mm-hmm.
know, we had the big house, we had the new
Yeah.
cars, we had everything. Like on
Yep.
the outside, it looked perfect.
It did.
And the proof, again, that social media can be very fake and deceiving. Like, don't compare yourself because
Yeah.
behind closed doors, I was unfulfilled. I wasn't happy. The relationship wasn't good. Like, things were really falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And as soon as I really met you, I was like, oh no, she's a lovely girl. She's not going to judge me.
Oh, like I want to eat cheesecake every day, like,
Every day.
right?
So you had this picture perfect life on the outside
Hmm.
until it all came crumbling down.
Hmm.
Um, I'll always remember the day that you texted me and told me that you were separating.
Mm.
And I
Hmm.
was shocked because everything looked great, right? And like, I
Yeah,
had never heard from you that things weren't going well, because like we don't speak of those things back then,
right. Yeah.
right? Um, and I definitely like want you to speak on that, obviously.
Hmm.
But before we get really into it, so one of the reasons that I say that you've had a really big impact in my life, like I remember when you texted me that we were living at Alex's parents' cottage because we had sold our duplex and we didn't have our house yet.
Right.
And that period for me was really difficult. Like I remember being in full anxiety at that point. For those of you that have heard my story, you know what I'm talking
Mm.
about.
Hmm.
Was stuck in that little cottage. We had just gotten Scout. He had gotten his surgeries. So one of our dogs had two surgeries after we got him. I was stuck in that cottage. I couldn't leave him alone. I couldn't bring him anywhere. Like I found that period especially really difficult, but I can
Mm.
picture myself during that period, and that's when you had texted me, and like you were helping me through how I was feeling while you were going through all of this, and like no one knew.
Mm. Mm. Hmm.
Yeah.
That's
So
powerful.
yeah, yeah, it is. And I know like after that you really started on a healing journey. We kind of were both on
Yeah.
our own healing journeys at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, but I remember that you were already helping me while you were like your whole life was crumbling apart.
Oh.
So, and I'm not sure how much you want to share, but tell us a little bit kind of how things went down, or how you were feeling through all of that, through the
Mm.
first, like the first realizations that this was over and you were going to have a new life. And like you mentioned, you didn't know who you were. Um,
Yeah. So, first of all, I don't even remember texting you. Like I know I did, but
oh,
like
I
I
do.
don't recall. It was almost like an out of body experience
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I remember I was off work for like 2 weeks because I was
Yeah.
like I couldn't think straight at
No.
all. Um, and it was very obviously it was very hard to believe that this was actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
But something that I remember is like you're like you go through phases, and it really feels like the phases of like grieving someone that
Yeah.
like died, like except
Yeah.
no one really died, but that's how it felt.
Yeah.
And I remember like the first, I think like couple weeks, we were still like living in the same house, because before you actually like make a move and decide what you want to do, and like, decide who's going to go where, like, what
Mm-hmm.
are we going to do with the house? Are we selling it? Like, what's the plan? We were still living under the same roof. And I remember almost feeling like everything's fine.
Mm.
Like, everything's fine. Like, we're still friends. Like, it's all good. Like, we've talked through it. And I remember my family and like my close friends being like, what the hell? Like, what do you mean you're fine?
Yeah.
But it felt that way because nothing felt really real at that point, because you're still living under that same roof. You're still, getting back from work and seeing that person, and you're having conversations, and it
Yep.
still feels somewhat like your normal life.
Your life hadn't changed yet.
No, it hadn't
Yeah.
changed at that point. So I felt really fine with all
Mm-hmm.
of it. It's only truly when we like had um trucks over to like move out our stuff,
Yeah.
and I remember my parents coming back home to, so basically my parents were helping out. I was doing a run with my stuff, and they were back at the house doing the final, like they were picking up the final items, and I remember not wanting to be there. And when my parents got back home, they said like, oh my god, like that was so hard. We just like, all of us like basically cried in the parking lot, like my parents and
Mm.
him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it really hit me. I'm like, holy shit, it's really over.
Yeah.
Like, this is real. Like, there's no denying it. And that's truly, I feel, that's the that's the time where I can say, okay, this is when it really hit me. And
Mm-hmm.
it's been from that moment onwards. Like, obviously there was like all kinds of stages. Like,
Yeah.
there was frustration, there was anger, there was sadness, there was a lot of guilt. Oh my God, so much guilt. I think that guilt piece is what I carried over for the longest time. Like, I just felt guilt around the fact that I had made a promise
Yeah.
when we got married, and I felt like I was breaking that promise, even though I felt like inside my gut was telling me that it was the right decision, but I still felt awful about that. I felt so much guilt around um things that had happened in the relationship. Maybe I should have said things differently. Maybe if I would have, you know I don't know, like maybe if I invested more time and energy into this, like we wouldn't be here right now. Like, what have I
Mm.
done? Like, and I, it was just, I can't even begin to tell you. It's the most pain I've ever felt in my life. It's like I was empty. I was basically just a shell, and it was awful. It was awful. I remember like I didn't want to get up in the morning because I'm gonna feel the feels, like I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
crying. I just wanted to sleep basically, because that
Yeah.
was the only time where my brain was shut off. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not thinking about it. And so every hour of every day was like so hard and so painful, and really trying to make a new life out of my life. Like, it was just, yeah, it was hard. It was really, really hard. And it took some time, and it took some
Mm-hmm.
courage. And there's days where I didn't know if I was going to get through it. And there's
Yeah.
days where, I was feeling a bit lighter that day. And it was really like a roller coaster for quite a few months. But yeah.
And
Um,
that's how grief goes, right? Like we hear that all the time with grief
yeah,
of when someone actually passes away. And it's like you said, like it's the same feelings and emotions because it's still someone who was in your life that is no longer in your life. And sometimes
exactly.
it's even worse because when they actually pass away, then you can grieve the fact that they're like gone from this earth and
Yeah.
not like decided to not be with you anymore.
exactly. Like I'm not gonna bump into that person at
Yeah.
the grocery store, right?
Yes.
And yeah, it was so hard. And I remember like also like at some point you're like, okay, I'm going to have to start looking at the future and
Yeah.
start, just playing with the possibility that I am going to meet someone else eventually. Like it's inevitable. Like I knew I wasn't going to end my life alone. Well, there are some parts of me that
I was gonna
were,
say you thought that at the beginning. I remember
yes,
you saying that.
yes. At the beginning, I was like, that's it. Like I lost my chance at my fairy tale. Like
Yeah.
I'm obviously not going to get married a second time. Like I
Hmm.
remember having all these thoughts, but then eventually you're like wanting to feel hopeful, and so
Yeah.
you're trying to like consider that possibility, but then the guilt comes back on and you're like,
Mm.
well, I can't date someone if I'm still grieving
Yeah.
that relationship, and if I still miss that person sometimes. And that's the biggest lie ever. Like
Hmm.
both feeling can coexist, and
Yes.
it will coexist. Like you've been with
Yes.
that person half of your adult life, obviously, like it is going to take some time, and you're probably never going to forget that person fully, to be honest. Like
No, it's such a big part of your life.
such a big part of my life, and I am who I am today because of everything that happened, and that person was played such a big role in like
Yes.
my initial stages in life. And
Yes.
so yeah, I think allowing yourself to like have all the feelings at any
Hmm.
point in time and not judging yourself for it was like the biggest lesson for me, I think, in all of that.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
maybe like talk to us a little bit more about that, about how you didn't think you could start dating someone while you were still grieving and still healing. Because you met JM not that long after, when
Hmm.
I'm sure you would have said you were not ready for a relationship at that point. But when you
Yeah.
meet the person, you meet the person. Um,
Yeah. I I had
and
a
how it
lot.
helped you heal through all of that too.
Oh my God, absolutely. And you always hear everyone say like you can't find your person if you're not like healed from your past
Yeah.
relationship, or you can't heal if you're in a new relationship. And I agree with that to some extent, but I think
Hmm.
it really depends who you are,
Yes.
like who you are as a person, and who's that person that you're with, like
Yes.
who's that new partner.
Yeah.
Because if he is truly your person, he's going to meet you where you are, and he's
Yep.
going to allow you to like grow into that person that you're trying to become. And
Hmm.
so I remember with JM, like I had this really strong gut feeling telling me that I should pursue this, that I should
Hmm.
see where it would take us. And of course I'm happy now because we're here like 5 years down the road, and it's still a thing, right? So but at the time, yeah, like I constantly had like these voices in my head saying like, what are you doing? Like it's not your person. Like it's impossible that you're meeting your person while you're so fresh out of a marriage. And but he was so patient and understanding. He was
Hmm.
really giving me the space that I needed. And I'll be honest, and we always talk about this with people, like it's the first couple years of our relationship were really hard
Yeah.
because I was discovering who I was. I was trying all the things because I wanted to see, what do I like, what do I not like. I was dating myself basically,
Yes.
like, and he was very much on the back seat for quite some time. But he really allowed me to like cry and to be angry and to be sad. Like I told him everything. Like I said, right now in this moment, I miss my past relationship, I miss my ex. Like I don't miss being with him romantically, but there's a void inside of me right now that
Yes.
is making me want to cry.
Yep.
And was it hard for him? Absolutely. Like, it must have been. I can't imagine,
It has to be.
but it had to be. But he was really, I think, anyone who's like not confident in who they are and what they
Yes.
have to offer would not, like, wouldn't be able to deal with that at
Would have
all.
ran away.
Run away completely.
Yeah.
But he was very much like secure in who he was and very much grounded, and knew that, he always told me, like, I love you right now, and you're telling me that you're at your worst, so I can't
Yes.
wait to see how much I'm going to love you when you're at your best.
Yes.
So that really stuck with me. And you know what, we've worked through a lot of stuff, and yeah, I wouldn't change it because we're here.
Exactly. And I think honestly that probably builds a really strong foundation when you're
Yes.
going through all of the shit at the beginning
Yep.
and you get to
Yep.
just air it all out and figure it out. And it's like, there's no secrets in 5 years. You know, like
No.
you already know everything, you've already seen the worst,
Yep.
versus typically when you meet someone and you try to be at your best and then everything is rainbows and sunshine
Yep.
until either you've pushed yourself down so much that you don't know who you are, which
Yep.
you know all about that,
Yep.
or you then start being yourself and then the other person is like, who is this person?
Exactly. And something else that was confusing me too was that because I was so conflicted, because I was not fully present in that relationship,
Yeah.
it was really like a slow love. It was really like a
Yes.
slow building process. And I was used to like intensity and chemistry
Hmm.
and like, a big love right
Yep.
from the start. And that's not what it was.
No.
And it couldn't have been because it was such a weird situation.
Hmm.
Um, but my brain was like trying to trick me and being like, well, is this legit? Like, do you
Yeah.
really love him? Because like, you're not, there's no crazy emotions, but it's really been steady. And that's something that I've learned is like, a great relationship is, it's not a roller coaster.
No.
It's slow and steady,
Yep.
and it's peaceful, and it's slow building, and it grows as you grow. And
Hmm.
yeah, like, that was something I had to really learn because it,
Yeah.
it felt different.
It's the stability that you actually want in your everyday life. Like,
Yes.
no one wants a big roller coaster of highs and lows on a daily
No.
basis. Like, it might seem all exciting at the beginning, but like, who
Yeah.
actually wants to live that way? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So I feel like, I mean, there's so much we could talk about. Like, we
Yes.
could be here for hours and hours and hours.
Yes.
And we don't want to do that. We want to keep this at a reasonable length, and you'll obviously have to come back like 40,000 more times.
I will if you'll have me.
But before we wrap up, I would like you maybe to just, and I know it's not a whole lot of time, but just to give a quick overview of how you went to from divorce to a new relationship to all of your healing and finding yourself, and how you transformed that into what you're doing now.
So again, I think it was like, it wasn't an overnight thing, of course. Like, I think that's a misconception that we have, that, oh, like, I'm gonna start, journaling today and tomorrow I'm gonna feel better. That's not how
Hmm.
it works,
No.
unfortunately. It was really much a I really started like learning about self-awareness and what it means to like analyze yourself when you're feeling certain ways. And so when I was feeling sad, I was like, okay, why am I feeling sad right now? Like, did I see something that triggered that sadness? Did I how was my last few days? Was I basically, doing nothing for filling my own cup. Like, how was that environment the last few days? And I think having that awareness really helped me like determine like, okay, what are my triggers? What are the areas of my life that, maybe I do need some healing, because that was a
Mhm.
traumatic event for me.
Yes.
And it really opened up like basically like a can of worms of like, okay, that happened. And it was maybe like the big trigger event, but there's so many things that from high school, from my childhood, like the
Mm-hmm.
bullying and the attachment that I had with some people. There was a lot of stuff that I really had to unpack, and it's a daily process. Like, I remember just some periods I was journaling quite a bit, like, because I felt like I had so much on my chest and I had so much in my mind, and all that guilt, like I wanted to let it out. So I remember I was writing pages after pages after pages every day. And then it was a lot of personal development podcasts. It was
Mm-hmm.
a lot of hiring coaches. I remember I had a coach, I had a therapist. Like, I was really looking for help. Like, I knew I needed help, and I knew I couldn't do it alone. And I was like, I'm going to find people that can help me get through this. And it was really like a little by little, like a
Yes.
slow process that, 3 months after, I was starting to feel a bit lighter. And so I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm gonna keep going, like, and I'll adjust as I go. Um, so yeah, so it was a slow process, but then eventually, when I started feeling better, and when I realized how not many resources are out there and how
Yeah.
it's hard to find someone that you can relate to, I was like, I'm gonna be that person. I'm
Mhm.
going to become that person that women struggling through relationships or a divorce and
Mhm.
really needing help, I'm going to become that person that they can call and they can relate to, and they're going to
Yeah.
see that it's feasible and it's doable, because I'm over it. Like, I'm on the other side.
Mhm.
And so that's really, as soon as I had that realization, it gave me like the fuel and like the clarity that I needed to like keep going. And that's when I really started doing like, okay, well, what can I do in order to get there? And I started taking courses and doing all the things, and getting to a place at work where I can work part time, so I can dedicate 2 days fully to this work. Um, and it's been, obviously, as you know, very rewarding, and
Yes.
the best thing. So overall, the worst period of my life became the most beautiful story. So yeah.
Mhm. And they
Mhm.
always say you're best equipped to help the person you used to be. That's what you're
Yeah,
doing.
exactly. That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming. Like I said, we could talk for hours. Like I
For
had like
hours.
a list of things we could have talked about, and I think we talked about two. So
There you go.
there's like
Mm.
20 more.
There's
So,
gonna be a part two eventually.
and three and four and on and on
Yeah.
and on.
Oh my God.
So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really hope that our conversation is going to inspire the listeners and see that whatever they're going through, they can get on the other side of it. If they need help, they can reach out to you, I'm sure.
Yes, of
You would love
course.
to help them. And we would love to hear like your stories and what you're going through currently and what you're struggling with. So find us on Instagram. We want to hear your stories.
Mhm.
You can reach me at Vero_Normando or Empower_L. And Renee, do you want to tell people where they can reach you?
Yes, I'm very much active on Instagram. So it's Renee.A. And then the business page is It's Your Time Coaching.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll just tell our listeners to keep choosing yourself, your vision, and your values. That is real power. And we'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone. Thank you for tuning into the Empower Elle podcast. I hope today's episode inspired you and gave you practical insights to help you navigate your journey as an ambitious, high-achieving woman. Remember, every step you take towards building your confidence and embracing your full potential is a step closer to creating the life you truly desire. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite platform. Your support helps us reach more women who are ready to step into their power and live their best lives. Don't forget to join our community on social media for more resources, tips, and inspiration. Until next time, lead with power and live with wellness. You are unstoppable.